Hello and welcome to the second episode of the fourth video for layout sketching. As usual, my name is Anton, and beside me I have Raj. Raj, say hi.
Hello.
And today we will start to slowly introduce you to layout sketching, and you will see the 3D actually aspect of the layout sketches as well. So it's something called top-down layout sketching, and we will actually get into that. So this is meant to be more of an interactive video, so if you can, please follow along. We'll be making two layout sketches today. One will be just of a very simple box, just literally just a cube, but with sketches, and then the second object will be a replica of an iPad case. It's like the ones where it folds into a triangle at the bottom, and then you rest the iPad on the triangle. I'll pull up a photo. So yeah, all right. So in layout sketching, as I mentioned in the last video, the very first sketch usually starts from a side profile. Same with the robot, right? You don't want to start from the front. You don't want to start from the top. That'll be really, really weird. Nor do you want to start from the bottom. That'll be even weirder. You want to start from the side profile because that's usually where you can see all of your mechanisms and how the game piece will first interact with your bot. So let's just get into it. I will make a sketch on the right plane. For the sake of following guidelines, I will create the floor, which will be a construction line because, again, the floor isn't really part of my cube, right? It's just something that impacts my cube. So construction line in robotics terms would be like for example, the game elements like the human player station or any scoring positions. And then I will just very, very simply make so from the side profile, a box literally just looks like a square, right? Like imagine looking in a box from a side. All you're gonna see is a square. I will make my box. Raj, how big do you want your box to be?
7-inch by 7-inch box.
Seven
I guess
inches
kind of
by
a small box.
7 inch by 7 inches. Small box. Please use the equal constraint for this one. I better not see two 7-inch dimensions on your sketch. That is a waste of space. So here is Raj's dimensioned out 7-inch by 7-inch side profile of his box. The only thing right now that is bugging me is how it can move from side to side. So what I'll do is I'll create a midpoint on the top of this line. So see the midpoint icon pop up. So I'll create a midpoint there. I'll just, I used the point feature, made a midpoint there. And I'm just gonna use the vertical constraint to make the origin and the midpoint vertical to each other. And there you go. Now you can see that nothing can move. Another little like feature in Onshape is if you look at your sketch icon right here, you'll see that there's like a little white minus sign in a blue kind of circle. That means that your sketch is not fully constrained. If I do not want to copy the current URL, if I redo what I just did, so the vertical between the midpoint and the origin, you'll see that the little icon goes away, and now my sketch is fully constrained. So the only thing that is left now is to do side layout. Cool. All right. So as you should have noticed, the side layout was made on the right plane. Usually you want the right plane to be the middle of your part. So what I mean by this is you do not generally want so if looking from the front or the back view, imagining this is your side, you do not want to create your box as if this was the right side. So from the front, the face would go out over here, right? You want your face to be centered on this little sketch right here. That sounded very, very confusing, so I will demonstrate that right now. But first, we actually have to create a plane that is perpendicular to this line right here. So it'll be coincident with this line, but perpendicular to the right plane. How do you do this? You have to use the plane feature. So I click on the plane feature, I press on the front line, and now I flip it 90 degrees. Okay, cool. And I will name this front. Front, okay, cool. So here is my box from the front view. As you see, the original sketch that we made from the side now shows up as a line, which makes sense, right? It makes sense that it's a line because it's a 2D sketch. What I said a couple of minutes ago, well, first you actually have to create a sketch. So now I will create a new sketch and select the front plane, or this is very confusing because there's two front planes. So I'll say this front box. And I selected the front box as my sketch plane, and now I can actually start, like you can, if you hover your mouse over your original sketch, you'll see that you can actually start using the lines and the points from your side sketch in your front box sketch now, which is pretty cool. So for example, I can hover over this line and select the midpoint and create a midpoint rectangle that goes like this, and now I can use the top point over here to make my midpoint rectangle horizontal too, like that. And then I can dimension this. Raj, how wide do you want your box to be?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. A foot wide.
1 foot wide box.
Yeah.
What are you storing in the box?
So I'm storing a lamp.
You're storing a what?
A lamp.
A lamp? You're putting a lamp inside of a box. Is it
Yeah.
an old lamp? Okay. No, I don't question it.
Yeah.
So you should have seen that, again, you can use the any feature here, right, on from the side sketch, and that's exactly what we did. Now, what I actually should have done instead is I should have made this sketch. So here, imagine a line going like from the side view. Imagine a line going from the midpoint over here down to the origin over here. So it's gonna just split this square down the middle. And then imagine I made a plane on this line that's 90 degrees to the right plane. So it's just gonna be this front box plane, but moved over so it's coincidental with this point. I should have made this sketch on that line first, because you generally want to sketch out kind of the quote unquote middle of your robot first before actually starting to sketch out the kind of the faces on them, right? So what I'll do right now is I will go to the side layout, and in order to make a plane there, I actually need to have a line going down and like splitting it down the middle. And since this line doesn't really impact any geometry of the original square here, I'm gonna make it a construction line because I do not want it to quite literally just split it in half. Now I will just change my entity selection to this construction line and press check mark. Now notice how the front sketch moved automatically with the plane. This is a pretty good example of designing with intent and making sure everything is changeable, right? Since I used this point and this point in my original sketch, which was on this line right here, these 2 points did not change, right? They still existed. They still exist at the front of this side plane sketch here, and they still exist in the middle of it right here. So pretty nifty and pretty cool. Okay, now we can actually start to sketch out the side faces and whatnot. So what I'll do is first I will create a plane on this line. The first time we created it was called the front box. I'm actually gonna do this and then say front box, and now I will rename it to, I will rename the original one to mid box. And now all I'm gonna do is I will just create a sketch on the front box plane, and again use this line over here from the side sketch to my advantage to constrain stuff. Another really cool feature in Onshape is something called project. What project does is it makes sketches appear in other sketches. So it's kind of like a copy and paste. Here, I'll just quickly show you what it does. So let's just say I want this line to appear in my current sketch, right? So this line is from the side layout sketch, and I want it to appear in sketch one. What I do is I just press on this line and and now if I go out, you should see like there's like a very, very faint line right there. This means that if I hide my slide layout sketch, see how it just kind of appeared from the side layout sketch? So I quite literally just yoinked it, right? Pretty cool. And now what I could have done instead is if I hovered over this line and actually press project or U and the construction function at the same time, and I press this line again and hide this side layout sketch, you should see that it popped up as a construction line this time, right? So just something to keep in mind with, so you don't have to keep redrawing stuff. And then if you change the dimensions for some reason of the original side layout square, the projection in sketch one will also change along with it. Okay, so now I'm gonna do exactly what we did originally. I'll make a rectangle like that, and I will make this corner right here coincident with that corner. Press check mark, and yeah, you can keep doing this with the rest of the box, right? You can make the sketch from the bottom here. You can make the other faces if you want, but of course, this is very, very over-engineered, right? We do not need to do all this for a box, but just to kind of introduce you guys to top-down layout sketching and to show you that sketches in different planes can still interact with each other with the constraints.